Welcome to Global Take, presented by School Rubric, a show about the international teaching experience. Teaching internationally is one of the best decisions you can make as an educator. In this show, we will meet teachers and administrators from around the globe living and working internationally. Our hope is that their stories and experiences will inspire you to explore the world of education. We will learn about all aspects of international teaching, from becoming an international teacher to what countries are the best fit for you, to the challenges of being away from your home country. Come take this unforgettable journey to the world of international schools with Global Take, presented by School Rubric.
Hello and welcome back to Global Take. As you heard, a show about international schools around the world, brought to you by School Rubric. I'm Nick DeForest, and I'm happy to be back as host again this week, where we talk about something all of our schools have had to deal with since the pandemic. Whether we were in person, virtual, or on hybrid, virtual competitions were a part of our world. But before we do that, I want to thank everybody for watching. Whether you're on live with us right now or watching the recording, we appreciate you and want to hear from you. So if you're watching live, write something, a comment, a question, just tell us where you're watching from. We would love to hear from you. All right. So first up is to meet our panelists for today. They're all new to Global Take, but experienced athletic directors and have had experience with virtual competitions for sure. So Todd, kick us off. Tell us all a little bit more about yourself.
Thanks, Nick. I'm excited to be here. Long-time viewer, first-time caller. My name is Todd Parham. I'm the activities director here in Amman, Jordan, at American Community School. This is my 18th year as an international AD.
Wow, that's great. I said experience. That's it for sure. All right, Mo, over to you.
Hi guys, Hourani here. Again, I'm a huge fan of this show and very, very happy to be on it. I'm the activities and athletic director here in Beirut. It's my first year. I'm back after 14 years of teaching internationally. I'm from Beirut, Lebanon. And yeah, so excited to be talking about virtual activities.
That's great. And hey, thanks to both of you guys for watching every week. And it really is great to have the comments, hear the people, get some feedback about the show every week. Yeah, so if you're new and this is your first one, we hope you stick around till the end because we'll hear more about Mo and his school in a school spotlight at the end of this episode. But definitely, last but not least, it's early morning in Colombia. Freddie, let's hear about you.
Hi, yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the morning here in Colombia, but glad to be here and thank you for the opportunity for this to be on this show. Freddie Badillo from Medellin, Colombia, working currently at the Columbus School. This is my 6th year, and I have a little over 25 years of experience in different schools in Israel, the United States, Venezuela, and 3 different schools in Colombia. So glad to be here.
Oh, perfect. All right. Well, thanks, guys, and yeah, let's get right into it because there's lots of virtual events out there and competitions. So I'm sure we're gonna have lots to talk about today. So let's go right into our first question from Matt in Lao.
Hi, I'm Matt Lauterbach from Vienna International School. This year, we've all experienced virtual competitions in some form or function. What has been your favorite and why?
Favorite one. All right. I know I have a few, and I feel like we're gonna get off the athletics for a little bit and dive more into activities, but let's see. Mo, would you start us off?
Yeah, sure. Great question. It's very different to be an AD this year, and working through the activities piece has been huge. The athletics is not in the sidelines. We have been working on athletics here, but at a totally different realm. to answer the question, it's more of a connection versus a competition. My favorite has been the Compassion Summit. This is the 5th year of the Compassion Summit going on. It connects schools from the region and international schools to basically develop a compassionate action plan within their own school. This is outside the activities and athletics, but it has been my favorite. We've taken part in the forensics and debate competition that Todd hosted. We're also running right now a cross-country virtual race, which I'm excited to release the results tomorrow for. Super different, but for us, what excites us is to actually be working with students and making sure that the students are engaged in the after-school realm.
Right, and that's it. And you even mentioned not even a competition, but online conferences, which is something that's been popping up as we know. Well, you mentioned Todd, an event he hosted, so let's go to you, Todd, and hear about your favorite.
Yeah, thanks. It's been great. We've been working a lot together, both ACS Beirut and ACS Amman, and a lot of activities. We're currently doing a cross country that Mo's hosting, but definitely one of my favorite activities is forensics and debate. Virtual, in person, I prefer, but we were able to host an international. When I say international, we were able to bring in 8 schools from not only our region, but from Southeast Asia, where we wouldn't necessarily be able to do that if it was an in-person event. It was a wonderful event. We had a lot of students that got to participate that wouldn't have been able to do that in a in-person sort of event. And one of the best things that came out of it is this new partnership with ACS Beirut and ACS Amman. What we have is we have the middle school debate teams. They get together once a week and they decide on the topics and the pros and cons, and they get about a half an hour to work it out, and then they actually work on the debate. So it's building both programs. It's been really, really a phenomenal thing. We've done other ones, but that's probably my favorite this year so far.
Cool. Wow, connecting with more kids than we would have in a normal year, and building different partnerships that just weren't available is 2 great takeaways from this time, right? Yeah. Great. Well, Freddie, how's it going in Colombia?
I definitely have to agree with all of you guys about creating new partnerships with other schools. We've been able to organize different events with different schools from Paraguay, Honduras, and Brazil. And we actually, a couple of weeks ago, we hosted a virtual art festival called, the theme was Art Without Borders, where I think the best thing about it was we were able to incorporate our own teachers to give workshops to 88 different students from around the different countries, incorporate also our own students to helping with the logistics and also organizing the opening and closing ceremonies. And I think it's been fantastic. Obviously, we'd want to do it locally and be able to travel, and under the circumstances we're not able to, but it was a wonderful experience to be able to do it virtually and have our not only teachers but students be involved.
Right. Well, that's great, and keeping people active and engaged has been obviously tough. So it's good to hear from John, who we saw is on the elliptical this morning, and Mike is on the exercise bike watching us. So that's good to keep moving any way you can. That's great. For me, we talked about the activities. I was a part of a speech and debate tournament that I really thought went well, and I'd love to do it again. Obviously, the student-led conference that the Globetrot and ADs hosted was a great one. There's a couple more coming up. CISA-wide Pride from the International School of Prague is tomorrow, and United Woman Conference from IS Panama is coming up soon. So those kind of conferences are really cool, and I've enjoyed them to bring kids together. But not in competition, obviously. Competition-wise, I will say that my favorite was the pumpkin run from AAS Moscow, because athletics were really on the back seat, and that gave us something to do. We came together as a cross-country team, ran it all together, bit of excitement, but what they did was they made a logo. Obviously, they sent, as some of us know, they sent out T-shirts and prizes, and I thought that made it feel like a real event. It wasn't just sending in results. I know that's not an easy thing to do when we're connecting globally, but I thought that was really cool. And I know it was one of the highlights of my daughter's year, who took part in the pumpkin run as well. So great, some great things out there that we hope will continue in some form or fashion, right? So that's the main question today. Are these virtual competitions going to continue? And then if so, how? But let's go to our second question that'll lead us right into that.
Hi everyone, this is Will Brugdenhill, Korea International School, the athletic director there, and just had a question about virtual competitions. We all want to get back to normal as soon as possible, but for international schools, we value those cultural connections and international mindedness, and whether it's our home country, our host country, or neighboring countries. I'm just wondering what the thoughts are about virtual competitions and what can take place and happen in the future and what we want to continue. Thanks.
Yeah, that's it, right? While we're at home, it's easy to do these things and find ways to connect, but will it all be over? Or will it even grow even more? Freddie, I want you to kick us off and let us know what you think.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Basically, yeah, I do believe that virtual competitions are here to stay. I think that we need to adapt with the times. Change is inevitable, and we're living through those times as we're speaking right now. I think there are different opportunities that we have, especially in individual competitions where we have time competitions. We can do a lot with that, and I think we're doing that right now. We were able to do some virtual track meets that we've been a part of with other schools in Central America, and it's been a really good experience. I think as far as the team sports, we're going to have to modify what we're doing with team sports. As far as traveling, we have the lodging, the tournament structure. Those things are we're going to definitely take a look at because no schools are. I don't believe they're traveling at the moment, and we're going to have to see how we're going to be able to modify those. And like I said, change is inevitable. I can remember when I first got recruited back in 1996. You went to a recruiting fair, and you didn't know that you got a job until you got a fax 2 or 3 weeks later. And nowadays that doesn't work. So things are changing, and I think we need to change with the times, and hopefully. Working together, we can do a lot of great things. But virtually, I think in some way, shape, or form, it will continue.
Right. We definitely don't want to cut the travel out, though, Freddie, because you and I were working on a way to get you to come over here to visit our school. So we want to keep those things going. But no, great. Thank you, Freddie. Todd, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Freddie. I think virtual competitions are probably here to stay in some form or another. I hope that there are very few of them in the future, just because I value the in-person experience for athletics and activities so much. There are a lot of pros that have come out of creating virtual events. I talked about that earlier, and I think those things will continue. But one of the things that I found with the virtual competition is that it's really hard to promote it in our community sometimes. Our kids are pretty burnt out being on Zoom calls and in virtual fatigue. So we come up with all these great ideas, and I'm talking with ADs all over the place and the administration here and friends, and we think it's a great idea, but it's not well received sometimes. So I think that there is some fatigue there. I think, like Freddie says, these are here to stay, but getting on a plane and going and having that social experience and learning that culture, it is so valuable. It is one of my favorite things as an athletic administrator.
Right. Oh, that's great, Todd. And you're coming from a perspective where you've been online all year, yes. So, your students, if anyone's burned out, it's students that have been online all year and then maybe doing these extra things at night. So I feel that. I feel that for sure.
Right. It's been tough. We only had 3 days of in-person learning for my family and my son, and transitioning to a new school this year, it has been difficult.
Wow. Great. Yeah. Okay, Mo, how are things in Beirut virtually?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna definitely say the same thing as Todd and Freddie for sure. It's tough. It's very tough to connect virtually, but are they here to stay? I would say 100%. I would say in an ideal situation, and I think that's the modification Freddie mentioned. The modification has to look at a combo when we can, a combo between a virtual and in person. So that combines every good aspect of the merits of connecting kids.
Right.
If I give an example, what's going on with forensics and debate for us right now between ACS Amman and Beirut is a phenomenal lead up towards a competition where kids can get together. ADs are super creative and versatile, and they can immediately jump on changing gears and making it work. I don't see the team sports getting the benefit of the virtual competitions. I mean, it is. We tried virtual soccer this year. We tried virtual basketball, virtual volleyball, virtual cross country, virtual swimming as well. I mean, and the students that joined are students who want to improve their skills and performance, but are not students who are veterans in the sport itself. If you're a veteran in the sport, you're not connecting with beginners. You're actually looking at other venues to connect and improve your sport. So I can't say they had taken a hit. I would say it's actually an improvement because we have connected with many more students who are taking part and preparing. But I think the main mindset is the virtual aspect of it is the mindset has been, I'm preparing for next year when we go back face to face versus this is it and this is what's going to happen. So I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah, the combination is the best part for sure.
I think you did for sure, and it's each school, each conference, each region obviously can have different takes on it because it's just easier to get around and do things local, or maybe it's not so easy. I see these virtual events or competitions in kind of three categories, right? There's non-athletic, and that's the academics, the speech and debate, and these conferences that we mentioned. And I think those going forward definitely have a place in our communities because we can all come online together and feel that event. You can be there for an opening ceremony, you can discuss things, you can have the back and forth. So I see those as being able to just expand because kids can connect with more kids around the world, right? Then there were these athletic challenges that came up last year when everyone was at home. Bounce the ball this many times, shoot what you can do in your house. I think those will be gone, right? We're kind of, as Todd said, sick of those kind of things online. They did their job though, for sure, to connect, but I think they're gone. And then the other is the athletic events, which we touched on, the team sports, really tough. I think they could be a good way to expand our programs, obviously not replace. So like, a combination of scores, like the pumpkin run that I mentioned. Cross country is tough because of elevation. Track and field, Freddie, as you mentioned, is an easier one. And swimming. So Matt Lautenbach, who asked that first question, he has a site, International School Aquatics. And I think that would be a really cool place for kids around the world to connect with their swimming, at least, because you can update, your scores individually. A school can send in scores, or maybe a conference can. So our conferences here in Europe can send in our official results that we had in person, and you guys can send in your conferences, and then we can have our, champion. That would be a neat thing for a kid to put on his resume, as well as to expand our program, not replace it. Right? That's all kind of different aspects, but yeah, they've been great, and yeah, they're going to help us connect and expand. There's been some good questions. Here's one right here coming up from Luther. What's been happening for coaches and PE teachers for PD during this past year? So not a competition, but how are we engaging our coaches and PE teachers? Anyone want to jump in on this one first?
I can go.
Yeah.
I mean, I first commend you, Nick, and Matt for the Globetrotting ADs. I think that for me, I'm an avid listener as well, and we took that idea from you guys, and we were like, okay, there's a lot of things going on for ADs. PE teachers are not connecting very well. And Luther, who prompted the question, and I have been getting together regularly, and probably 7 times now we've managed to get a few PE teachers together, and we've had different ways of getting them together. One time it was more of a presentation, and they're listening in, webinar style. The other time it was, okay, let's share. Here are some questions to prompt. So PE teachers, I think they're benefiting. I'm benefiting as an AD from people like you guys. PE teachers need that venue, and we're hoping that we're creating it and for them. So we called it "Don't Panic." We're in a pandemic. Don't panic, pandemic PE. So look out for that if you guys want to connect PE teachers.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Mo. It's great. I appreciate the shout out and the listen. Todd, I have a question coming for you. So I don't want you to respond to this one because the next question is going to be for you. But Freddie, what about you for coaches and PE teachers in your neck of the woods?
Well, that's a great question. And as far as, Latin America or Colombia per se, we're year-long sports. So we have coaches, and a lot of our coaches are walk-on coaches. Thankfully, our school kept all our coaches. I know in Colombia, there's a lot of schools, private schools, that were unable to keep their coaches, especially if they were walk-on coaches. We have about 85% of our coaches are walk-on coaches. So instead of them doing, because we're not doing any sports right now, we did start out with virtual activities, but as you know, you can only do so much on-screen stuff with sports. So we've been having our coaches help out with recess duties, supervision, doing movement breaks. So we've been having them do other things to fulfill their hours, and in fact, doing biosecurity measures as students are coming into school, when they're leaving school, parking lot duty. So they've been helping out with other forms. As far as professional development, just basically trying to keep up with what's going on with other schools, collaborating with other schools, doing different, virtual competitions. But we are lagging in that, and that's something, this is a great opportunity for us to have too, with the Globetrotting ADs and other things that we're hoping to accomplish as well. But great question.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Freddie. It's tough to know how much to give people, because everyone's got something at home, some other things, other different situations. So you don't want to overburden students or adults, right?
Right.
Okay, Mike Denef, also future guest on the show, has a question here that is right up your alley, Todd, I think, and it's about wellness for adults. You can see it there on the screen.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to incorporate some wellness opportunities virtually for our staff as well. So much of what we do is we focus on the student, and rightfully so. That is our jobs, right? But sometimes we forget about the other people in our community. The parents and things like that. So we've been trying to do a lot of things for the greater community. And one of the avenues that we've taken is about the wellness of our staff. So we've created several different wellness activities, challenges. Again, I don't create all of these. I kind of steal from other people and make them my own and work for us. One that our wellness team has pushed out has been awesome. We're hiking the Jordan Trail. So the Jordan Trail is about 670 kilometers long. And we're trying to see how many times as a community we can hike it. And I think we're over 1,400 kilometers already since the 1st of April. And we've got another one where there's like 8 challenges of, exercising twice a day and taking cold showers and eating healthy and all these great things. So it's bringing the community together, giving us something since we're also virtual.
Right. Yeah, that's it, right? The adults need it just as much as the kids do. I don't know if this is along those lines, but played a lot of online poker with people on Zoom, and that's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, well, you know, this is a topic I think we could talk about for hours, but we can't. We got something else coming. So I want to move us to one of the last segments, a newest segment, a school spotlight. And today, as I mentioned, we're going to hear from Mo about ACS Beirut. So yeah, let's cue that video and hear about it.
It's time for School Spotlight on Global Take, presented by School Rubric. Let's learn more about the stories and information from schools around the world. What's your school story?
All right, this is a privilege to be given the school spotlight about ACS Beirut. This place is very dear to my heart, my family's heart as well. The school is established in 1905. I mean, we are celebrating year 115 this year. The school boasts 66 nationalities of students and 950 students. And then we are an IB school as well. We have the Lebanese diploma, and then we prepare for American colleges. Why this school? It is a nonprofit school. This usually, from last week's episode, this has been a highlight. Another piece which you see in the photo here, I'm sitting in the gym. I can't point it out, but I'm sitting in the gym that is around 50 meters away from the Mediterranean. That's a huge attraction here. So the location of the school is phenomenal. The heart of the school is again the history, 115 years, as well as the relationships you develop. You can see my in the bottom left photo. There's my first PE department here, and the cool thing is most of these guys have gone off to be leaders in either other schools and so on. So the school prepares you super well for leadership. I'm very privileged to actually have worked here from 2002 to 2006. And I moved on and continued internationally, and now I'm in a leadership admin position, I think, and that's based on a lot of the things I learned at ACS Beirut. Here's some photos of this year. We had 6 weeks of online, 6 weeks of kids were in hybrid, and this is my family. One in Halloween, my wife and daughter and son here, and then here leading up to Christmas. These are the Christmas celebrations. And the top right, this is my daughter sitting in my office. Doing something, actually watching the convocation ceremony, which is a celebration of all the nationalities at the school. 66 again. Our students come from 50% are Lebanese, and the other 50% are children of aid families, children of embassies, and so on. The school has notable alumni. For example, Steve Kerr. I would assume, I don't think this is a fact, but I would assume the gym I'm sitting in has Steve Kerr have played in it. He's one of the people that went to the school. Keanu Reeves is another one, and I think that is part of the history of the school. The same gym I'm sitting in is the gym you see in the corner there, and ACS remains a very, very vibrant place in a somehow turmoiled place. I mean, I feel very safe here in Lebanon. It is very, very safe, but there's political unrest, and it's always in the news. But you have to see it. You have to visit. Even if you don't come and work here, you have to come and see the place and see how there's a combo of amazing stuff going on all the time. I want to speak about so the location of Beirut. It's again on the Mediterranean, but you see 45 minutes away if there's no traffic. I have to highlight that. There's one of the ski resorts. There are 11 ski resorts. People usually don't know that about Lebanon. hiking trail. There's a 410 kilometers amazing hiking trail as well from the north to south. And that promenade you see is almost right across the street from this office as well. We pride ourselves with very picturesque towns, old towns. One of them is most continuously inhabited town in the world. It's called Byblos, and that's like 30 kilometers away from where I'm sitting. So again, ACS Beirut is an awesome place. We're back here after 14 years, and this is a 15-year. This is us in Beirut. My family loves it here, and that's my school spotlight. Thank you for letting me talk about it.
Thank you for traveling across the globe with us to learn more about international schools. To hear more from international educators and learn more about these fantastic institutions, tune in to our live Global Take episodes as we highlight international schools in our School Spotlight section presented by School Rubric.
All right. Wow, Mo, thanks so much. It's really great to hear from people that are so passionate about the place they work or the city they live in. You know, especially international schools, there are so many people that move in and out, you know, stay 2 years there, jump around. But each school, they do have these long timers like yourself on your second trip. So it's great you could feel the passion you have for your school.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we could talk virtual activities forever. I would love to continue the conversation. So if you haven't commented, comment some more. You can also go to our Facebook group, a new one called Global Educators Network. We can continue the conversation there. There's a picture right there. Awesome. And really go to schoolrubric.com, check out all the different shows, like, follow, subscribe. There's all sorts of things there. There's even podcasts and some other things for everybody. So coming up soon, on April 10th is an Education Without Borders episode, and they're going to be talking about third culture kids. So something all of our schools deal with for sure and have. And then next week on Thursday, I will be back as a viewer for Global Take. It'll be Ryan Sagar again as the host. And there it is, tips for landing your first or next international teaching job. So that's next Thursday. You see it 6 a.m. Eastern, 12 here in Central European time. To hear from Ryan, Chris, Jeff, and Christina. That'll be great. Great. So thanks again for tuning in. Guys, thank you so much for being a guest. We definitely want to have you back. So I hope this was a good experience for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's been great.
It's been phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you next time, everybody.
Thank you for watching School Rubric on YouTube. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe in order to stay looped in on all of our diverse collection of shows, interviews, panels, tutorials, and more from educators around the globe. And visit us at schoolrubric.com for even more great content such as our online articles, Interact magazine, featured podcasts, and more. Thank you.